You may know me as one of Cinderella's evil stepsisters, and I am here today to set the record straight. She is the evil one. A Fractured Fable, Cinderella the Untold Story by Dora Bana. It's wrong, what they've written about us. I don't have a cruel bone in my body, and neither does my sister. Just because the masses aesthetically prefer the stereotypical slim, gorgeous, leggy blonde with the saucer-sized brown eyes and the sugar-coated voice, they cast people like me and my sister aside and label us bitter and twisted. Ugly, even. They've said we're jealous of her and called us vile names, but believe me, there's nothing to be jealous about. She's the evil one, and the ugly one. On the inside, at least. Her real name is Ellen, and she came into our lives 16 years ago in the form of a precocious 2-year-old when our mother married her father, Frank. I don't know what Mom saw in her father. We thought he was a pompous ass right from the start. But I suppose Mom was lonely after our no-good dad ran off with the Queen's lady-in-waiting. I guess it was hard trying to raise us on our own, struggling with bills, trying to provide me and my sister with the right schooling and social credentials to make it in the world. Up until she married Frank, she could never afford the designer dresses we needed, and she didn't have the connections to get us invitations to the exclusive balls where we would be seen and noticed. From the moment Ellen became part of our family, things started to go wrong. Tiny sweet little Ella, as her daddy called her, was the focus of all attention. To say she was naughty would be like saying Vidal Sassoon is a barber. Even at an early age, she knew exactly how to pin the blame on us for just about every misdemeanor. Once when she was about 5, she smeared Frank's mustache wax all over in the bathroom, causing him to slip and break his arm. She told our mother that she'd seen us using it on our ringlets. Yes, mustache wax is great for holding a curl, but we'd only sneak a tiny bit now and then. To be punished for something we didn't do was foreign to us at the time, but it was a circumstance we would find ourselves in many times in the years to come. Another time, she pulled the porcelain buttons off her best Sunday frock and hysterically tried to blame it on me. Mysteriously, those wretched buttons were discovered in my jewelry box, and I was punished by being forced to clean the kitchen floors every day for a week. Innocent, cute little Ella, the girl everyone loved to love. But of all her malevolent attributes, there is one that surpasses the rest. Would you like to know how she got her nickname? The stories say it's because we made her sweep the cinders from the fireplace, hence the Cinderella tag. This is unequivocally a pile of vile-smelling horse manure. Those delicate hands have never held a broom. Believe me, Miss Cinders got her nickname because, amongst other things, she's a pyromaniac. Her favorite thing, aside from making our lives miserable, is lighting fires. The first one was the kitchen drapes. I'll never forget it. She was about 10 years old. It was a bitterly cold day, and all the fires in the house had been lit. I remember her running, screaming, terrified from the kitchen to the parlor. "Daddy, stepmother! An ember has leapt from the fire, and the drapes are ablaze! Come quickly!" It was a great act, executed with aplomb, but sister and I weren't fooled for a second. When Mother and Frank ran to the kitchen to extinguish the fire, she turned to us with an evil smile. "Hey, you Gorgons. My day is complete but for one small thing. It would please me so if only I could have made it appear that you are responsible for this. No matter. Next time, perhaps." So, I guess the stories are right about one thing. We hated her. Sister tried to tell Mother what she was really like, but it was futile. Her charm had enveloped our own mother. She would curl up at Mother's feet and gaze into her eyes. "Oh, dear stepmother," she would drool. "How cruel of fate to deprive me of my own mother, whose sweet face fades from my memory each day. But how kind of fate to replace that face with yours. I am truly fortunate." The annual Queen's Gala Ball was forthcoming, the most splendid star-studded event of the year, an evening of gaiety, dancing, fine food, and wine. And most importantly, lots of eligible courtiers ripe for the picking, the most eligible of which was the Queen's handsome son, Prince Charming. Both sister and I dreamed of just one dance with him. Nay, we even dared to dream of marrying this gorgeous creature. Sister and I waited anxiously each day for our invitations, and we looked forward to the magnificent event. Then they arrived. Sister collected the mail, and there, dusted with gold, bearing our names, were 3 invitations, including Ella's. Our worst fears were realized. Sister's immediate thought was to toss Ella's invitation into the fire. But as I pointed out, this would just arouse suspicion, and all fingers would point at us. "No, I'm afraid we'll have to accept it. We don't stand a chance, dear sister. Once Prince Charming sets eyes on her conniving little face, he'll be smitten, I'm sure. Hey, I have an idea, offered Sister. We could have her kidnapped. I was a little shocked at Sister's suggestion, she being so gentle of nature, but then she added, at least until the ball's over, and we make sure she wasn't harmed. Intentionally, anyway. I must admit it wasn't an entirely outrageous idea, but valuing my role as the sensible, intelligent one, I could only offer weak words of encouragement. No, dear sister, the only thing we can do is trust in ourselves. We have class and style. We will be radiant, captivating, and will truly outshine her. And toad farts smell like rose water. On the morning of the big day, our dresses arrived. I took delivery of 3 magnificent ball gowns, jewel-encrusted shimmering works of art. They had cost a small fortune, and we couldn't wait to put them on. They were quite heavy, and as I carried them upstairs to the dressing rooms, I tripped on the top step and accidentally caught my heel on the skirt of Ella's dress. I fell forward, and the dress tore from waist to hem. Oh, dear God in heaven, I cried. Sister, come quickly. I've ripped Ella's dress. Sister ran to my aid, her face a pasty white. She clapped a trembling hand over her mouth. You are so dead. Thank you for the news bulletin, dear sister, but what are we to do? Everyone will think I did this on purpose. My sister could offer no comfort, only to say I should tell the truth. They'll understand, she said. It was an accident. They know you wouldn't do something like this on purpose. Come on. The sooner we get it over with, the better. Then I remembered why I've always been portrayed as the sensible, intelligent one. No, I have a better idea, dear sister. Get me the yellow pages. I thumbed furiously through them until I came to the disaster relief section and found what I was looking for. Fairy godmothers. I picked one with her own advertising banner. Godmothers are us. I phoned the number and spoke to a kindly older woman explaining my plight. Yes, dearie, I can help. We actually specialize in ball packages, very popular this time of year. Not cheap, you understand, but the price includes the dress, shoes, hair, and makeup, plus luxury coach transfers to and from the event. Conditions apply. Sister and I clapped our hands with glee. Oh, do come over right away. A few minutes later, I heard a cacophonous scuffling inside my wardrobe. I threw open the door to reveal a tiny but plump elderly lady. Hello, dear. I hope I'm in the right place. I'm your fairy godmother, from Godmothers Are Us. Sister and I helped her from the closet and closed the bedroom door. I felt I had no choice but to explain the whole story to the fairy godmother. I found myself pouring my heart out about Ella's nasty demeanor, her cruelty toward Sister and me, her evil pranks, and her selfish acts. The fairy godmother listened and nodded sympathetically. Well, my dears, we never advocate violence when it comes to granting wishes, but as it happens, I'm wearing my steel-capped winkle pickers today, so one word from you and a swift kick could find itself connecting with a certain spoiled butt. But for now, let's get this show on the road. I need a couple of rats, a pumpkin, and that torn dress, and a few other bits and pieces. When we'd assembled the items, we were told to find Ella. I tapped on her bedroom door and was greeted with an irritated, "Get lost! I'm putting on my makeup!" Ella, your gown has arrived, and we have a surprise for you. It's in the kitchen. Come on. You'd better not make me late. Ella presented herself in the kitchen, wrapped in a thick, fluffy kimono. Well, what's the surprise, and who's the gnome? She looked a little startled when she noticed Fairy Godmother. Both Sister and I immediately noticed a look of suspicion in her eyes. Why, I'm your Fairy Godmother. And just what do you think you can give me that I don't already have? I'm here at the request of your kind sisters to make your first gala ball an unforgettable event. And with that, she waved her wand. Ella was speechless, but just for a moment. She looked down at her dress and the gorgeous glass slippers adorning her tiny feet. Her face exploded into a bright, beaming smile. This is so cool! Then just as quickly, the smile disappeared and she turned to glare at me. Okay, what's the catch? Why all of this for me? Not that I don't deserve it, of course, but ordinarily, you wouldn't take the time to throw a cowpat at me. Explain. Fairy Godmother stepped in. Why, Cinderella, you doubting Thomas, your sisters are pure of heart, and this is their gift to you because they love you as their own flesh and blood. But you're correct, there is indeed a catch. When your sisters purchased the gala ball package, I neglected to explain about the conditions pertaining to the time clause in this package. It simply means that you must leave the ball by the stroke of midnight. Ella's face contorted into a frown. Midnight? Are you kidding me? Things are just starting to rock at midnight. No one leaves a gala ball at midnight. No way. The fairy godmother smiled. Sorry, honey, but if you don't leave at the stroke of midnight, your splendid outfit and your carriage will turn back into their previous form right where you stand. So you mean this get-up is only a loner? What a royal ripoff! I knew you two were out to get me. Look, forget it. I just want my original dress and I'll take a carriage to the ball. No conditions. Sorry, what's done cannot be undone. Till midnight. The fairy godmother glanced at her watch. Oh my, I must fly. A fairy godmother's work is never done. Now you all be sure to have a great time. Well, we'd better get dressed. See you later, Ella. And we left her standing in the kitchen. The ball was truly an outstanding event. Sister and I had a marvelous time. We didn't get to dance with the prince, but something much more wonderful happened. On that enchanted night, we met our present husbands. Not swine, as our sister intimated, but two handsome brothers, both noblemen, tall of stature and kind of heart. And Cinderella? Well, as history reports it, she did indeed dance with the prince, but only once. She spent much of the evening sitting down, rubbing her feet, which were badly blistered from the glass shoes. She did leave the ball at midnight, losing one of those glass slippers when she tumbled down the castle stairs, and yes, the prince went to extraordinary lengths to find its owner. Not because he wanted to return it, but because he wanted the other one, and her beautiful gown. The queen's one and only son made a special announcement that night. He chose the gala ball as his coming out of the closet party. I would be untruthful if I said unfortunately, but Ella is currently incarcerated in the Dick Whittington Memorial Asylum for the criminally insane. After the ball, she was caught lighting a fire in the royal castle. She was in bare feet and wearing her terry toweling kimono. I am so glad we didn't take the happily ever after option on that ball package.